Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today is Wayne Sealock. Wayne is running for town council here in Front Royal. And yes, it's that time of year again as we get close to the election this year. It's just a few, really, like next month or a month
almost,
after next.
Yeah, right.
Almost just 40-some days away, 45 days, something like
Yes.
that. So you're going to start seeing a lot of signs around Front Royal. Wayne, I want to show you what your sign looks like. This is Wayne's sign. You're going to see a lot of these things here. I guess Big Wayne, that's what we call that right there.
That's it, yeah.
So anyway, when you see a sign, you'll know we're going to put a face to the sign. So we'll do that there.
you.
So I'll give you a little plug on your sign there.
All right, thank you.
But Wayne is running for the seat Scott Lloyd that
Yes,
resigned.
correct.
And so it's just you and Gene Kilby, is running against this one seat. So the ballot this year is going to probably look a little strange for most of us. We're going to see the town election, which we have our normal 4-year term election. Right. And I think there's like 4 names on that. Mm-hmm. And then you have another section that'll be for the special election. So don't be too confused about that. So Wayne and Mr. Kilby, and hopefully here in a few days, Mr. Kilby will be in and we'll talk to him as well. But you were at the forum that was held over at St. John's Catholic Church last week.
Yes, sir.
Everyone, I think, did a great job. And, everyone, stood out as a great council person. So I think the only one that did really great was Lori, because she was
she's running unopposed. Right.
So that one was really good on that one, but she did a great job too. Mm-hmm. So Wayne, what in the world did you ever make you decide to run for town council?
I've tossed it around for years, and the more I sit back and look at things that go on in town, I just think I can maybe have some input. I know I'll have some input about maybe to change things, run just a little bit better and a little bit cheaper.
Right. So now, you were a former police officer?
Yes, sir. I was in law enforcement and public safety for 35 plus years.
Right.
I come from a law enforcement family. My father was in the sheriff's department here. Had an uncle that was on the town police force, and still have relatives in law enforcement. So we have a long career of law enforcement in our family, over 100 years experience.
Right. You also have local business experience. You're kind of an entrepreneur, aren't you?
I guess. 2001, my wife and I opened up Sue's Sewing and Embroidery. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, she passed away 18 months ago. And we decided, we had closed the store in 2019 with anticipation of doing things together. And she came up.
That big retirement comes soon. And
then we didn't get to do a whole lot with it because she passed about a year later with cancer. And we have reopened the store. Well, it's not a store, it's just a shop now. But it's actually at my home. Mm-hmm. And we're doing embroidery. And I have one of the ladies that worked with us before when we had the storefront. She's doing some alterations for me. Okay, good. So, I still keep dabbling with that.
It's hard to get away from it, isn't it?
It absolutely. What you know from experience,
yes.
You
dabble in these things, the next thing you know, it's taking over your life.
Exactly. That's just the truth.
Yeah, it's great. Now, you're a local boy, born and
raised here. We lived on Prospect Street, moved from there to Commonwealth Avenue out in Chimney Field. Mm-hmm. I played Little League here. I played football here. I'm not a product of Warren County Schools. I'm a product of Randolph-Macon Academy. Played football there. After my first retirement, I went back to work there, and then had a different job offer, and it was a good move. Mm-hmm. Randolph-Macon was good to me. Mm-hmm. I'm a life member of the Front Royal Volunteer Fire Department up here. When we moved back to the Rockland area, where my wife was from, they want to start North Warren Fire Department. Mm-hmm. I was one of the guys that was instrumental in getting that started, and I also served as a charter member and their first fire chief. I'm also president of the local Fraternal Order of Fraternity of Moose out here.
Right, and also the Front Royal Police Foundation.
Yes, sir. I'm president of the Front Royal Police Foundation, which Of course, if I do gain the council seat, I will step back from that, and we already have somebody that's going to step up and take that for us.
You know, those organizations that you mentioned kind of gives you a good broad feeling of the community
Yes,
and the
sir.
activities and kind of the needs and wants of what our community is looking for.
Well, I also served. Excuse me. I also served on the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Right, for a lot of years.
For 17 years. The last 15, I was chairman. I served out the full a number of years that state code allows
Right, yeah.
for that.
I was on
2
that
extra
board
years.
for 5 years, and I can tell you get your eyes opened on a lot of things.
Absolutely.
You really see the ins and outs and workings of not just in our community and the building process,
Right,
but
right.
also the town council and things, because you're interacting with
Yes, sir.
the town council. So it's
The only thing about the Board of Zoning Appeals, you're an ad hoc committee, and you don't really answer to the town, you answer to the circuit court judge.
exactly. That's the one thing I liked about
Yeah.
it. I always said is that if they didn't like what you did, they have to sue you and pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's, I enjoyed that time. I learned a lot about the inner workings of the town.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot about the codes. They sent me to a Board of Zoning class. It was a weekend. Then there were 10 weeks where you had homework to do. Then there was then after that, there was another weekend where you had to take an exam.
Yeah, it's a great. It's a lot of training out there for people. You
Absolutely.
just don't show up and say, "Oh, do what you want." There's
Right,
a lot
no.
of organization, a lot of laws to know, and
Absolutely.
same as with the council.
Yes.
So let's talk about if you were on council, what were some of the things that you would like to accomplish? And because you're only going to be serving for 2 years.
2 years.
So what's kind of like on your top 3 things?
Budget is the big thing. And I think my biggest thing is I'll never say that we have a safe community, but I will say that I want to be able to say that council, along with our police department, can make our community as safe as possible.
Right.
And secure as possible, because we want our seniors to feel safe, we want our school-age children to feel safe, and we want the younger kids, plus then the people from school age to seniors. We need to think about the whole realm of people, where they feel comfortable going out at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night and taking a walk down the street and back. Not have to look over their shoulder the whole time.
Right. I think that's a national trend.
Exactly.
Going on here with a lot of the communities of really making their laws lax on
Yes.
prosecuting criminals and things, and
Absolutely.
And I think everybody wants to be treated fairly, but this catch and release is kind of a term that's gone around on a lot of things.
I'll tell you, like when I started in law enforcement, I was 18, 19 years old, and my father told me one thing. He said, "I'd get a long way. Treat people like you want to be treated," and I did my best to do that,
Right.
and it worked out well.
That's great. So, budget's your first item. What's your second and third?
Well, there's talk about Main Street. I think it was thrown out there, but people don't understand what it's going to cost and the disruption and everything for Main Street for probably 2 years.
Sure.
You can't just close this in and close this in and say, okay, we got to walk in the mall.
Right.
All the curb and gutters got to come out, because that's going to be a trip hazard and the town's going to be liable for it.
Sure.
There's
Lighting?
The lighting. There's going to have to be new storm drain systems put in, kind of like the Old Town Mall in Winchester. And I think that's probably, I would venture to say, probably a $2 million project or more.
Right.
And I think it's going to kill a lot of the stores on Main Street.
Right.
We fuss now that we don't have any parking in town, which we really don't. But you want to close Main Street, that means you're going to take away, and I walked it and counted, you're going to take away 32 more parking spaces on Main Street.
Right.
I remember Main Street when it was one-way, parking on both sides. I remember when it was two-way with parking on both sides.
Right. It's changed. We've tried about every combination there.
Exactly. And I think the way we have it right now is one of the best ways we can have it.
Right.
With the festivals we have downtown, I think that needs to be a joint effort with tourism and the town to make, we have places here. We're set in one of the most beautiful parts of the valley, I think. For tourism, we get tourists in town. They're going to stay in our motels. They're going to buy our food in our restaurants. They're going to buy gasoline. They're going to go to some of the major stores and purchase things. And I think that's where we need to focus. Tourism is a big, big thing because Front Royal has been a bedroom community ever since I can remember. And what I mean by that is the people live here and they commute to Northern Virginia to go to work.
Right. They say about 40% or so are commuting outside the county.
There's no doubt.
Well, I know that you watch the traffic coming into the town in the morning, and I can remember when we're going around getting signatures.
Yes.
Are you in the town? Oh, no, I live in Winchester. Oh, I live in Stevens City.
Right.
They're like, it's like the town people go this direction, and the other town, they come here. So they're
Right.
like pushing the jobs. So there are jobs
Right.
here. They're just not big paying jobs.
Absolutely.
And there's a few. And then we've, like I said, our school system, we've raised a lot of, brain surgeons and doctors and
Exactly,
lawyers and
yeah.
everything else. So, our skill level is here. We just need to get some. I looked at it and I'm thinking,
Absolutely.
Why does Winchester get everything? We're a better location than Northern Virginia. We got 2 interstates. We got a river,
Right.
et cetera, and all these things to do.
A lot of people don't know that Front Royal is the canoe capital of Virginia.
Right.
I
make a big joke about it, but that's a big thing.
It is. It really is. You go out on a Saturday or Sunday, and the canoe companies are running 340 like
Sure,
crazy.
yeah.
And you stop at one of the bridges and look down at the water, and there's nothing but canoes, kayaks, and tubes.
Those are all people who have come normally from the city.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Right. Well, that kind of leads it into maybe some economic development things. So, what's your gut feeling on our economic development? And you think the town council should be involved? We have an EDA. Now we're in the process of trying to get a Front Royal EDA together. What do you think?
The EDA we have now is called Front Royal Warren County EDA. So why do we want to be redundant? To me, that's just going to mean more tax dollars going out. I think we can, once they get everything straightened out with the Front Royal Warren County EDA. I think maybe council should at least make the offer to help them out to get, try and get some, I won't say big businesses in town, but some businesses in town that are going to employ 100 people or 150 people.
Right.
And also, we need to nurture with the mom and pop stores. Main Street is a good example. We have great antique shops on Main Street. We have several restaurants on Main Street now, and I think we need to nurture those. I know one big business that wants to come in is these data centers. I've done some research on data centers. One of our sister counties out here just across the mountain, they're having big problems with the data centers. The infrastructure is not there. Our infrastructure is definitely not there. They're having brownouts. People are losing microwaves and TVs and computers and air conditioning units in their homes. The only way I would consider a data center coming in is if they're going to provide all the infrastructure that they're going to need. Because, you got to figure in 10, 15 years, they're going to be obsolete. You'll be able to put...
The technology changes so fast.
Right. You'll be able to take that 200,000 square foot building and put it in the back of a U-Haul truck.
Yeah.
That's how much they're bringing it down. And I think we just really need to think long and hard. Then we're going to have warehouses sitting around that, what are we going to do with them? Then we got to go back and you got to market those again. And I don't think that would work with us.
Well, I think one of the things on council that really is important is, getting along with your other council members.
Absolutely.
Trying to persuade them to at least consider other options and maybe get a dialogue. And I'm sure you, with your police experience, you've learned real well how to get along with people.
Yes, sir. Yes, I have. Well, police officers sees people at their worst.
That's right.
And
it won't be any different than you'll be on council.
True. But it's, and talking about our police department, I think we have a wonderful police department. And when I was interviewed a month ago, one of my biggest complaints is the town budget. And gosh, the town crew will probably tear my house down tonight. But they go out and they buy new pickup trucks for the town crews, which they need good vehicles too. But we have our protectors out here running around in vehicles with 200,000 miles on them.
Right.
Road miles. That doesn't count the motor miles they have.
Right. They never turn them off. I mean,
that's just you just don't. And I think that's a problem. They need to have dependable vehicles. And I'll use an example when we had the mishap out at the quarry. If those guys would have been across town and tried to get there, and that car with 220,000 miles on it broke, you've got a jam out at the other end of town that you should be there taking care of.
Right.
That's all comes down to budget. Something else I think comes down to budget. I don't agree with going out and hiring these headhunter firms to find people to come to work for the town. We need to look locally first. I won't say I don't know anybody, but I think we can find somebody right here in town that could be our town manager. Mm-hmm. Your town attorney needs to come from in town because they know the history of the town. They may know some of the people they're going to have to deal with versus going out and getting somebody that comes in and doesn't know anything about our community.
That's what I've always said. You start local first, then you just
Absolutely.
reach, and then you go out a little farther.
Absolutely.
Maybe you have to go somewhere in the state, but
right.
State to state, bringing someone from California to work in our community is
it's not going to work.
There's a learning curve. Let's give them the benefit
Absolutely.
of the doubt.
Well, and if we find somebody locally that is partially qualified for the job, and he's our best candidate locally, let's reach out to other communities and say, hey, can we send our town manager over for a couple of days if you have time?
Sure.
To show him the workings of what you all do.
Right.
So maybe we can do something better here.
I think so. It's something that can be considered. Let's
Yes.
appreciate that. Yeah. Well, what else you want to talk about real quick? We have a few minutes left. I think we've covered just about everything on your list.
I think we have. I really do.
Yeah.
I asked for your votes. I hope I can make a difference.
Okay.
I guess the last thing, in the two forums I've been in, people have questions if the town council should be involved with the county school system. No, I don't think we really should. I don't think we can under state law. That's why we have a county school board or a school board period.
Right.
And people need to understand they're citizens of the town and the county.
Right.
Go to the school board, give them your opinion. If you don't like what's going on, there's another election coming up.
Sure.
Replace those people.
Right. That's what elections are really all about.
Right.
A lot of times we hear this where we're going to poll the community and see what they want to do, and you get 20 people that are vocal come up and you're going to make a decision. I heard a comment the other day about a former mayor of town, and he said, when they come before us and I hear the 20, 40, or even 100 people that come up and complain about something, but then I got to think to myself, there's 14,000 other people that must be in favor of it because I don't hear from them. There's something to think about that.
You have to look at town council meetings. If you look at the audience, you may have 20, 30 people there. I think those meetings, I'd like to see more people attend.
Sure.
You always have your Monday morning quarterback.
Oh yeah, hindsight's 2020. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You've yelled at the TV, I'm sure, many times.
Yes,
when you
I
watch a
have.
football game,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Our NASCAR.
Sure. Oh, NASCAR, of course.
But you're right. And again, I'm hoping I can win this election.
Right.
I think I can help make a difference in town.
Mm-hmm.
I have some fresh ideas I would take before the board or before the council. And again, I'm an old homegrown boy here. I know I still know. Well, used to know a lot of people in town.
Right.
Now we got so many new people in town.
Well, isn't it amazing? You used to go down to LD's or hometown somewhere,
Yes,
and you
sir.
knew everybody in the restaurant. Now you go
Yep.
in there and you say, someone says, you know who that is? I said, no, I've never seen him before.
I've never seen them before. Absolutely, you're right.
My problem is they go by, hi, Mike, hi, Mike. Hi. Hey,
Right.
I see you, and I don't have a clue who they are. So I'm sure you're the same
I get
way.
the same thing. Somebody will walk up and say, "Hey, Wayne, how you doing?" Fine.
The last time you seen him, he was 8 years old,
Exactly. Right. Well, and I'm seeing. Well, you know what I do the others
Sure.
on Christmas too. And,
Sure.
Yeah. That's why that's there. I see a lot of children now of the children that I saw when I started.
Sure.
Because this year will be 50 years.
Yeah. Hard to believe.
Yep, sure is.
All you got to do is believe.
That's right.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Well, Wayne, it's great
But,
talking to you.
yes,
I want
sir.
you to
Thank
come
you.
back again before the election.
Sure.
We're going to try to invite all the candidates in to talk to us and let our community kind of get to
Okay.
see you in a little conversation that we have and kind of
Right.
see if we can draw out some things about you that you maybe no one ever knows,
Right.
But
I appreciate
think
it.
its character makes a difference in our elected officials, and I think that's really what we're after is
Yes, sir.
trying to get a flavor of your character and
Right.
see.
Right.
Yeah. So Wayne will give us a ho, ho, ho here next time he comes in, and we'll go from there. But again, Wayne, appreciate it. Good luck in the
Yes, sir.
election.
Thank you.
Remember, we're having a town council election this year. We've got literally almost a whole new council
Yes.
because of some resignations and some changes there. So it's going to be a completely new council going
there
up
was,
this next year. Really, we only
There were
have
2
one.
resignations. Our mayor's not going to run again.
Right.
And there was Mr. Gillespie's not going to run again.
Right.
So it's going to be basically a whole new council
Right.
with the exception of maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah. So it's going to be a change. So you have a lot to think about. There can be a lot of candidates on the ballot. So please get in there, learn what you can, make sure you vote the people that you want in to help our town. Appreciate
Right.
it again, Wayne. Thanks
Yes,
again.
sir. Thank you.